Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. I wanted to make a quick video today because I saw a report talking about how about 400,000 Switch 2 units were shipped to North America in January, pegging an early summer release as a very likely scenario. I think that's very exciting. I love talking about the Switch 2. I've done it many times before. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more today because I want to see this console sooner rather than later. And I do think that Nintendo is playing their cards fairly close to their chest. I think they wanted to reveal it a little bit later, but then from all the leaks and everything, they had to reveal a little bit early. I think they want to do the majority of that on April 2nd. That's why we haven't seen anything else heads or tails of the Switch 2 since. We're less than a month out, which is super exciting. I'm very excited to see what this console is going to do. I'm guessing they're going to spend the first about 20 minutes of the presentation, the first half of it, talking about the Switch 2 and its functionality and everything. They'll likely showcase the gimmicks specifically, since this is going to be like more or less an upgraded Switch in a lot of ways. I think they'll show off the mouse functionality of the Joy-Con pretty heavily. I think they'll talk about the USB port on the top. There have been some speculation and some like things talking about how patents are suggesting this could be a plug-in for like phone support, so that you could have your phone as the second screen and play games like the Nintendo DS. I think this is kind of the idea for the peripheral, or maybe they have their own little built-in second screen that you can plug right in, and then you have the DS stuff. I think it makes perfect sense, especially since the Switch 2, I assume, will have a touchscreen just like the Switch 1. I can't imagine why it wouldn't, and you can just use your finger instead of a stylus for all the DS games. I think that makes perfect sense. So having a little peripheral you plug in, or plug in your phone to have that second screen, I think is a great idea. I think that makes the most sense. I don't think there's going to be anything too spectacular about the USB-C port on the top. I'm guessing there will be charging from both sides, just depending on preference. I think that'll be a neat little thing, but nothing that they touch on too crazy. But if it does have smartphone functionality, I think that will be something to definitely write home about. So I think that first 20 minutes or so, like I said, they'll talk about the specs of the Switch 2, talk about the gimmicks that they have in here. Maybe they've got something hidden up their sleeve that we don't know about yet, or we're not really betting on at this moment. And then I think they're going to use the next 20 minutes to talk about games. I've talked about this before. This is what I think a very safe bet of the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation is going to be. I think they're going to showcase Mario Kart quite a bit. This is obviously going to be their launch title. I think it's almost a no-brainer at this point. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was. It's the best-selling Switch game of all time, and if I'm not mistaken, the best-selling Nintendo game of all time. So they're definitely banking on Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart 10, whatever they call it, being really fantastic seller for the Switch 2 hardware. And I think that's a really easy bet. I also think they will show off a 3D Mario game slated for the holiday of 2025. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. I think they will use the other slots in between to talk about Pokemon Legends Z through A, and also Metroid Prime 4. My guess would be that we have Metroid Prime 4 as a launch window game in the first couple months after the Switch 2 launches. So you have Mario Kart to tide you over at the very first. Maybe you get another first party. Maybe the Metroid Prime 4 is also a launch title, but I would expect it a couple months later. And then a couple months after that, in the fall area, we get Pokemon Legends. And then after that, we get a new 3D Mario game. I think that's plenty in the first party lineup to give us for the first half year of the Nintendo Switch 2. And then we'll have some other stuff. They'll probably tease a couple of things. I'm very hopeful that a 3D Donkey Kong game, or a sequel in the Donkey Kong Country Returns series gets announced. Something like that would really make me happy. Seeing some other franchise come back, maybe Star Fox. If either of those two made a return, I think it'd be really, really cool, and I think that'd be a nice thing to look forward to for 2026. I think what will really shine, though, is when they talk about their third-party support. The Switch had great third-party support, but a lot of players in the space didn't really want to. They maybe didn't care about dumbing down their games, but they definitely don't bring anything to the table with having a Switch port for most of the stuff, unless it's older titles. Like Skyrim worked very well because it's a game from the PS3 era, but games like The Witcher 3 run remarkably well. I'm actually really surprised by how well it runs. I played it the other day. It's actually really fun to play, but other ones to get really bad ports, or they have to tone down the visuals so much that it's kind of like, why wouldn't I just play this on a PlayStation or an Xbox? I might as well if I have both consoles. I'm probably not going to play this on the Switch. Maybe I'll just wait until I get a new console or something like that. But the Switch 2 will likely have really powerful graphics, something on par with just barely the last generation of consoles, and I think that will do enough to get third-party developers interested. If they even say that GTA 6 is coming to Switch 2 in this presentation, it's going to destroy the internet. It's going to be insane. I don't think we see any exclusive footage from GTA 6 here by any stretch of the imagination, but something like that would be a big win for Nintendo, having really strong third-party support where they're just finally regaining it back. The Wii U had it at the beginning and then fell off really hard because the Wii U just wasn't supported very much by consumers, and then the Switch has really clawed that back, and now that they have a powerful console to compete in the space, I think third-party developers are really going to go hard. So I think it'll be like half first-party stuff that we'll be excited about, and then the third-party stuff will be really exciting to see. I'm guessing Assassin's Creed, we'll see like the newest game be coming to Switch 2 day one. Stuff like that I think will be a really big win for Nintendo. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Do you think the Switch 2 is going to be coming out in summer? I'm thinking June. I think a couple months after the Direct makes perfect sense. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What games do you really hope to see on the Switch 2? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.